Storytime with Me TV, where books come alive. In the quiet desert town of Dusty Dune, Ethan the Armadillo lived beneath a prickly pear cactus, where he spent his days collecting shiny rocks and listening to the whispers of the wind. But one morning, the wind carried a new sound, a faint, melodic humming, like a lullaby sung by the earth itself. Ethan's ears perked up. He had never heard a sound like this before. Curiosity blooming in his chest, he followed the tune beyond the sand dunes, where the air shimmered with heat and the ground glittered with crystals hidden beneath the dust. He scurried past the yucca bushes and over sun-baked stones, the humming growing louder with every step. Along the way, he passed a sleepy tortoise who mumbled, "If you follow the songstone, it'll show you secrets no armadillo's ever seen." Ethan blinked in surprise. "Songstone?" he asked, but the tortoise had already dozed off again. Ethan clutched his favorite shiny pebble and pressed on, heart thudding with excitement and a touch of fear. The trail led him to a shimmering ravine where golden lizards danced in silence. The humming now echoed through the canyon walls, like a choir of invisible singers. Ethan tiptoed along a narrow ledge, his little claws scraping the stone. Suddenly, a breeze stirred, revealing a hidden cave mouth behind a curtain of moss. The song seemed to come from within. Ethan hesitated, then whispered to himself, "Even little armadillos can be brave," and stepped into the shadows. Inside the cave, glowing mushrooms lit the walls in gentle blues and purples. The melody flowed like a river, soft and steady. Ethan followed it through tunnels that twisted and dipped like coiled vines beneath the desert floor. At one bend, he stumbled upon an old map, carved into the stone markings of a spiral and the symbol of a stone with a sun in its heart. Beneath it were 4 animal paw prints: owl, snake, fox, and armadillo. Ethan's heart raced. "I'm part of this?" he whispered. He touched the carved armadillo print, and the cave trembled slightly, as if awakening from a long nap. Somewhere deeper, the humming grew louder and richer. He passed through a chamber filled with hanging vines and shimmering crystals. A fox spirit appeared, made of golden sand and wind, and said, "To reach the songstone, you must pass the trials of sound." The first trial began. Ethan stood before a ring of whispering reeds. Each reed made a sound, but only one matched the humming he had followed. Ethan closed his eyes and listened, tuning out all but the true note, and chose the right reed. The second trial brought him to a room of echoing stones. When he stepped on a wrong one, it gave a sour note. He had to cross by stepping only on stones that matched the songstone's tune. Carefully, Ethan listened and skipped his way across. For the third trial, Ethan had to sing. A crystal beetle taught him a simple melody, and Ethan echoed it back in his soft, raspy voice. The cave walls glowed in approval, and a passage opened with a warm, welcoming breeze. He entered the final chamber, a vast dome where a giant stone pulsed with light. At its center, the songstone. It shimmered with every color of the desert, and the melody was now clear, sweet, and strong. Ethan approached it slowly. As he did, the stone projected images into the air, visions of ancient animals, armadillos dancing with foxes, owls soaring beside snakes, all united by the song of the earth. The songstone spoke in tones that weren't words, but feelings. Ethan felt welcome, important, chosen. The stone gifted him a pendant, a shard of itself glowing with a soft hum. "Share the song," it seemed to say. With the pendant around his neck, Ethan made the long journey home, the tune in his heart guiding his steps. Along the way, he noticed things he hadn't before: the beat of lizard feet, the whistle of the wind, the rhythm of the world. Back in Dusty Dune, Ethan stood on a small hill and played the melody by tapping his stones together. The wind caught it and carried it across the town. Animals paused to listen, feeling something ancient stir within them. The tortoise blinked awake and smiled knowingly. Birds chirped in harmony. Even the cacti seemed to sway. Ethan felt a warm pride swell in his chestnut, just for finding the songstone, but for bringing its magic home. Ethan built a tiny stone circle near his burrow, where he played each evening. Animals gathered, drawn by the song. It wasn't just music, it was memory, mystery, and the heartbeat of the desert itself. Over time, Ethan taught others the tune, and little by little, the creatures of the desert began to hum and sing. The desert was no longer quiet, it was alive with music and story, carried on every breeze. Ethan became known as the Songkeeper. He never stopped exploring, always searching for new sounds, new rhythms, new clues about the world's hidden melodies. Sometimes, on quiet nights, he'd gaze at the stars and hum the songstone's melody, wondering how many more secrets the earth had yet to sing. And so, under a moonlit sky filled with whispers and wonder, Ethan the armadillo smiled, curled up beneath his cactus, and drifted into dreams shaped by song and stone.